Okay, we're recording again. Go right ahead, Lloyd.
So what I wanted to do was just go back a few slides here, in particular to this. So this is a little bit of an open discussion, since we don't have a guest speaker today. In terms of this Friday, March 4th, SDSN Canada 2022 Together Ensemble, this event that is coming up. So it is the 10th of February, 4th of March. It's about 3 weeks or so from now. I have proposed 3 very simple things to do during this, what we call side event, where I proposed to Mariam Khan from the CDF Foundation in Pakistan, who is a member of the Global Women Development Network and I guess a founder, that if we may be able to rebroadcast their event. So their event takes place from February 4th to 8th. This event from SDSN Canada is only on March 4th. And I'm hoping that our side event can include a rebroadcasting of their event during the SDSN Canada event, so we can have participants in the Sustainable Development Solutions Network Canada also watch or have the opportunity to watch the AHIABGA-TV conference event, at least on the one day, and to know what this the Global Women's Development Network is doing around the world, including their own food diplomacy initiative. So the next thing, I did propose, of course, the Tea Diplomacy Initiative. I've talked with the leader of Global Peace Let's Talk about this and invited them as well to see if it's possible, if they may be able to organize our very first Tea Diplomacy Initiative virtual discussions, again, as part of the side events that we do during this March 4th SDSN Canada event. I'm hoping that will come together and we can get a number of guest speakers, but not really. It's not really about experts and guest speakers. What I'd like to do is actually connect delegates of the SDSN Canada event, this Together Ensemble event, especially the decision makers, the higher level decision makers, really have conversations with grassroots people in our network, the people that are on the ground doing those things, so that those decision makers can really understand directly from the mouths of those who are actually on the ground doing the work in these marginalized communities. And this is really part of what the Tea Diplomacy Initiative is about, is to connect those high level decision makers really with the people with the most connection to the grassroots, people that need those solutions to be structured properly. The final thing is a discussion about the whole soccer league. Hoping to move that forward. We're just looking at the potential to do an announcement about the launch.
Excuse me, Lloyd. Lloyd, I
Yes.
apologize. Can we go back just one step before you move forward to the soccer league, please?
Well, I'm just mentioning the 3 things, and now we can sort of open it up. So, if you'd like to mention something else,
I'll wait until you complete.
No, that's good. So if you'd like to mention something else, go ahead.
Well, just the the SDSN collaboration. I look forward to finding ways we can actually connect the dots with the United Nations Global Compact in Canada and the USA. It was the SDSN network that came up with a report last year that here in the United States, for example, none of the 50 states are achieving even half of the Sustainable Development Goals, and the ones left furthest behind are the indigenous peoples. So this could be our opportunity to connect the dots with this United Nations Global Compact 2021 through 2023 agenda, so that we can then connect the dots with Africa. But I'll address that with you separately. Thank you so much.
Oh, absolutely. Let's make the connections as we can. I think this is a fantastic opportunity for us to be able to connect with an organization that's actually been around for about 10 years already. Sustainable Development Solutions Network has been very well established. They are focused around, again, partnerships with schools, with educational institutions. I'm forgetting what the gentleman in the US that started SDSN. Forget the name right now, but this has been around for a long time, 10 years. They are the biggest sustainable development solutions network in the world. I mean, we're in a way, I almost feel somehow replicating or duplicating what they already have, although they are, of course, not focused specifically on the solutions that we're looking to try to implement, these what we call regenerative and open source local solutions. But I believe that there's a good opportunity for us to build a partnership with them, or to become part of their network, supported by their network and the members. So I'm hoping that this will be really a good launching point for us to especially get into conversations with them, as well as what Andrew mentioned, the UN Global Compact, as well as the UN itself, as well as the African Union, as well as the European Union, as well as different governments and these multilateral organizations, including the Commonwealth of Nations, the Francophonie, and at some point where the idea would be that and the Global Unity Network create an equivalent Indigenous Unity Network that will be sort of the equivalent anti-colonial global network of local communities.
Well, Lloyd, I apologize for interrupting you, but what you're saying is so important, because there is, in fact, what's called United Nations launched the excuse me, the Indigenous, the Permanent Forum for Indigenous Peoples, and just last year, in August the 2nd, they launched the the Permanent Forum for Africa. So technically, our Indigenous Unity Network, if we take advantage of it, can identify those existing networks that we can collaborate with, and then do the same thing for our AfricaNet and diaspora networks. But again, that takes more in-depth conversation, but I'd like to bring that to your attention as well.
Mm-hmm. No, it's very, very important that we establish relationships, and so this is, for instance, with the delivery, for example, of the CSV gardens and the tree forests solutions. These Unity Garden solutions, partnership that we're creating with Foundation for Building Sustainable Communities, we don't have a partnership with some of their delivery partners. So they have a network of delivery partners themselves. So their network, and in our partnership with them, becomes our network. So we can leverage this network of networks. So they have an agreement or partnership agreement, for instance, with Rotary International. So now every Rotary club in every local community can help to deliver these local solutions, because our partnership is with Foundation for Building Sustainable Communities, which has a partnership with Rotary International. So that's where we can now leverage an existing network. And so the same thing, if the UN has this permanent forum for Indigenous peoples, they're developing a network of Indigenous peoples around the world in local communities. We can not only connect with that network, we can perhaps even help them to expand their own network by having members of our network working with their network as well, and growing these networks around the world that can help to localize these sustainable development goals, leading hopefully to this next stage of the regenerative development goals post 2030. So I guess the ask would be if Andrew may be willing to work especially with people like Mariam and Global Women's Development Network, if we can come to an agreement around the rebroadcasting of the Women's Conference event.
I'm glad you brought that up, Lloyd, because in fact, our ad hoc International Advisory Board of Goodwill Ambassadors, AHIABGA, as you mentioned it, we've evolved and we've grown, and you may now see a reference to AHIABGA-TV. So Mariam Khan is, like you, one of our Goodwill Ambassadors, as is Dr. Tamara Omar, as is Princess Seppi. However, we also have in Canada, Shola Akbula, and he has established the Saga Foundation online registration process. So I believe we can, in fact, begin to plan for rebroadcasting of the events, yes, but I want you to think about everyone on this line being able to produce their own presentations, much like yours, Lloyd, so that we can rebroadcast the content from our grassroots collaborators and put them on a global level. So yes, is the answer.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm good. I still have asked the members of the Global Women's Development Network. They're ultimately the ones to approve the rebroadcast. I just need the partnership with Andrew Networks, of course, to have that rebroadcast happen.
Well, I'll send you along the release form. We do have a release form that will be necessary so that we can properly identify all participants. So I'll work on that today to get that over to you. I'm having computer challenges, so it might be tomorrow, but I'll get that to you as soon as I can.
Yep. Oh, so okay, we have started that conversation anyway. It's through the women's group, Women's Feminist group. So the next thing, of course, is I'm just looking at who's on the line today. Here we don't have a lot of people on the line today during this discussion, but with Heidi from Global Peace Let's Talk. I'm going to be following up today as well to have a conversation with her. Hopefully she'll be able to have this diplomacy initiative launched. She has said she will be doing this. She had committed to managing the diplomacy initiative efforts. So if we can have that, what I will need to do soon, hopefully, is respond to this gentleman in an email to approve that, yes, we're going to do this, this, and this. The last and probably the most challenging thing, though, will be this announcement about the Bubble Fund Soccer League. I guess it could be called Bubble Fund Soccer League, Bubble Soccer League. I may change the slide name. We haven't come up with any official name. We have come up with a sort of a strategy right now regarding this. One thing what we want to do is to see if we can approach the UN Global Compact here in Canada and their members, but to do that, we want to approach some soccer players here in Canada, medal winners, who ladies actually won the Olympics recently. So Canadian soccer champions won the gold medal at the last summer games, but they, as professional soccer players, have no opportunity to play soccer professionally in Canada. So they've been making headlines recently about the fact that there is no Canadian professional soccer league. So we'd like to actually see if we can partner with them, have a talk with them, if we can connect to them. I mean, it's we don't know if we can even connect with them in the next couple of weeks, but to see if they can promote us and we can promote them, and we can both sit down and have conversations with the UN Global Compact Canada members to see if we can get sponsorship, both to create a Canadian women's soccer league, professional soccer league, which doesn't exist, which these ladies have been calling for, as well as to get support for the for the Bubble Fund Soccer League.
Well, I have to caution you that the United Nations Global Compact is not a funding agency, but I can say that all of their members are publicly published, so you can reach them individually.
Well, it's just I think if we could have, we know it's not a there's no finances in the UN Global Compact. The idea is that if we can have a conversation with UN Global Compact Canada leadership, they can get our message to all their members much more easily than if we were to go individually to each one.
Well, again, I caution you that that's not going to happen. That's not the way it works. The organization communications is about their activities. But again, you can reach the individual members. They're publicly noticed, so you can reach them individually.
Yeah, it's just it would be a matter of deciding which first. It's a lot longer process to try to contact members individually.
Well, just as a suggestion for the Africa strategy, the United Nations Global Compact intends to engage the top 100 largest businesses in each of those countries to join the Global Compact, and small and medium enterprise businesses as well. I suggest in Canada, my strategy in the United States is to follow that same approach and begin with the largest of the companies that seem to have the biggest investment in accomplishing these objectives and holding them to account to what they claim they want to say. That means, Lloyd, we have to do a little due diligence and go to the United Nations Global Compact website, click on the link for the businesses. Each one has a communication on participation that shows what they're committed to. So our task is to find out what they're already committed to and then align what they're trying to accomplish with what we're already doing. That's what I would recommend.
Yeah, and I actually have started a database already of UN Global Compact Canada members. It's just it's a big task, and it takes a lot of hours to go through and sort of fill out that database to understand it. First of all, like what are the 100 largest companies in Canada, and which ones are members already, which ones and what are they doing? There's a lot of footwork and research to be done.
I can provide some support services. Joseph Akinola has come on board to provide support services. So I would recommend that and also, of course, as you know, Mariam Khan and her team has over 100 interns. And so this is relatively administrative, clerical work. It's not really labor, it is labor intensive, but it's not skilled intensive. So I'll assist in that, putting that together, Lloyd. We need to have it. So I'll work with you to get that done.
Okay, excellent. Because I did just sort of start with a template for myself to find out what kind of information we might need. I put together a spreadsheet with columns with information that we're hopefully going to need. There's likely going to be more columns needed depending on what we want to know about each of these companies, these corporations and members. Because it's not just corporations, it's also industry associations and other organizations that are members as well. But for today, we'll see if we can try to end in the next 12 minutes or so. I'm just liking to maybe open it up at the end here. We have at least 4 or 5 other members here that may want to introduce themselves. For instance, Juliette. I'm hoping that we'll speak a few words about what she's been doing recently.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Let me turn it around. Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Anyway, let me continue. It's been quite a busy couple of weeks where we've been looking at some projects. Before I talk about what we've been working on, I just wanted to tap on what Andrew was saying about the indigenous community, because in South Africa we have everybody knows of the Bushmen or Bush people, but there's also an existing community called the Kru and the Kwe. The Kru, okay, but I do this is the Kru and the Kwe people of South Africa. They are based in the Northern Cape. They have, to a certain extent, lost their language, but they do have, well, they've lost it to Africans, but there is an opportunity to also build and develop their language. I was involved in the launching of the radio station a couple of years ago. So it's actually quite exciting. And in terms of indigenous knowledge, there's what you call indigenous games. The government tried to bring that to play indigenous games. And there is an opportunity also to bring in that indigenous knowledge. And we can, Lloyd and Andrew, we can link it to the cultural network, where broadly within, particularly in countries like Africa, in South Africa, that are developing quite fast, where the indigenous knowledge and skills are being lost. So when we're talking about what Andrew was talking about now, I just thought it would be an excellent link, and also to do something in the Northern Cape for that particular community. But other than that, we looking for, I mean, yeah, I hear someone. Okay. Yes, but other than that, in terms of the bubble soccer fund, in terms of its educational element, because we, everybody knows that the Banyana, the female soccer team in South Africa, is quite strong. It's one of the best on the continent, but very little gets done in developing it, and also developing a league. So we also looking at working with the bubble fund concept to start getting girls and young girls to participate and be interested in the soccer league, in soccer. And also we've already identified a lot of young girls who are very good, and there's potential to develop them further. So I think in a nutshell, there are a lot of opportunities for community-to-community partnership. We are also talking with some local stakeholders, local government stakeholders, in terms of the tree planting, particularly in the urban areas where it's just building of houses, building of shacks, building of squatter camps. There are opportunities and places for community-to-community tree planting opportunities. So we're already talking about those regenerative opportunities and others that have been presented on this platform. So it is quite exciting that we are now looking at implementing and also collaborating with Kenya, Uganda, and Malawi. I mean, it's exciting to see that Malawi, they're equally excited about the development of soccer. We just need to talk to them about bringing in more girls into that development of the sport.
Mm-hmm. And what I was just thinking as you were talking there as well, we've already had a conversation, myself and Joan and Stephanie, with my local councillor, Issa Lee, who actually participated in our very first Tree of Peace and Reconciliation tree planting, the one I mentioned during an opening presentation in September 2019. So my councillor was at that tree planting event, and she's aware that we want to plant the Tree of Peace and Reconciliation because we had a Zoom call with her. She's already identified place in our local community, literally 200 yards from where I live. There's a brand new development where there's a small local park, and she says, let's just plant the tree of Peace and Reconciliation in that park with the local community, and we'll bring everybody out and have a celebration. So I'm thinking right now we can do this. Just identify one or more local communities, maybe in each one of these countries in Africa. And we'll do, like I said, the trinning or quintinning, whatever you want to talk. Say we'll partner the city of Markham, as our councillor obviously represents the city of Markham, and these communities, and then we'll have these ongoing discussions of how to connect with the UN Global Compact, how to connect with these funding sources, so we can get these soccer leagues, just both at the professional level as well as these fun events, because we want people to support it.
Okay, No, not excellent. And also the opportunities for young people to get involved in climate solutions that will also help them to gain some income, because one of the biggest challenges we have in Africa and also in South Africa is the high rate of unemployment by young people who actually did go to school, but they have no other opportunities. So the whole eco climate ways of regenerating and also making revenue is also quite exciting for us and in different communities.
Mm. Yeah, and we do, just for everybody's sort of understanding, there is a conversation as well with a gentleman who's in Montreal, who has been involved, I've known for many, many years as well, originally involved again with the Canadian Biochar Initiative many, many years ago, was interested in some of these local solutions as well, including some of the stoves and gas fires, has had, I guess, done a presentation as well during a recent African event on Monday, and so there are these ongoing conversations around, especially the payment systems for carbon sequestration. It's a new concept. It's not the same as a carbon credit or offset as it has been done in the past. For instance, through the UNFCCC, we're now looking at direct payments for carbon sequestration of materials into different places, including into soil, but also into other types of infrastructure. Some of the more interesting concepts being to actually sequester carbon into sort of solid infrastructure like roads and other things. So as infrastructure is built, there can be payments for carbon that's sequestered into these larger infrastructure developments as well. So I guess I could ask who would like to speak next. I'm seeing
Lloyd, if I may.
Erwan, go ahead.
Yeah, I just would like to mention about the thing that I proposed in the groups about basically the main aspect is the strategy of alleviating poverty and improving community welfare in the very poor area, rural, poor, underserved, underdeveloped. So basically the component including is that empowerment. There will be through education, tele-education, because I suppose there will be lacking of teacher, telehealth, telemedicine. That means lacking of health provider, tele-training for the farmers or for even expecting mother, for example, through ICT, knowledge distribution. So these are the key program that I'm hoping to be able to apply in Africa and Asia and some Latin America. Basically, besides empowerment, it's a comprehensive program. The next one would be appropriate technology with forward-looking advancement. What I mean here is not really necessarily a low tech, but could be a more advanced tech. For example, we can use some internet access technology. For example, controlling the flow of water to the village and some other thing, as well as controlling the growth of the plant. And then the next one would be the economic improvement. So this will be the gist I presented, I think a few weeks back in the group, basically a guaranteed income system for poor farmer. So the poor farmer doesn't have to come up with any money, anything come up from their pocket. Everything will be supplied by either investor. I'm talking about family-based farmers, so only one family, for example. So the investment will be very, very small. It could be from NGO or CSR or other funding agency, as well as from investor, a private investor. So this can be profitable, can be also simply for social enterprise system. So no need for profit, for example, simply an NGA program. The next one would be I call human infrastructure. This could be a community infrastructure. There will be facilities and system for the poor, the clean water, food security, internet access for the poor, sustainability, secondary and tertiary road. What I mean here, sometimes when we look at the village, small village, even building a bridge through a river could be very critical. I saw a lot of students going to a very dangerous bridge crossing the river, just going to school. So this is kind of things we shouldn't be able to keep it the way it is all the time. We have to improve. We have to build a new bridge, for example, maybe a very simple bridge, but safe. And the other one is assistance, will be a social or financial assistance for the marginalized community, people, maybe people that are sick or cannot work, that are old people. So this one group would be something that we can help. So, and the one I would like to emphasize, which I think unique in this program, is all projects will be carried out under good transparency practice. In other words, every funding will be feasible, every spending, every budgeting will be known by the stakeholder. Stakeholder in this case will be likely the funding provider, could be the people in that community themselves, or maybe some observer, maybe from other village who like to maybe copy the process. So this is very important part of the project to prevent corruption, to monitor budget, progress, efficiency, and economic operation. So again, the target is the poor alleviation, poverty alleviation, and improving community welfare. One last comment that I would like to do. One of the, I mentioned as a component of the program is empowerment through ICT for rural, remote, underserved, underdeveloped, and poor communities through education, health, and training. In this case, we're starting small. So we don't really have to comprehensive program, but we can, based on the ICT, where we can conduct in very small approach. So basically the purpose is to empower, whether women empowerment, whether youngster empowerment, youth empowerment, or even the farmers. So this is the empowerment that we can create through ICT to make sure, for example, the school is equivalent or made comparable to the one in the city. We can use this through education, through internet access, for example. If there is no internet access, why don't we use a save and forward system where we save recording it, the teaching material, and then forward the flash drive or something to the student, so they can even see in the video-to-video conference, for example. It can be done too. So in this case, everybody will be able to have potentially either information that will empower them. Let's say the expecting mother, by knowing about what is the best way to do the healthy pregnancy, maybe they will be empowered so that there will be confidence in their process. The same thing with the student, for example, if they know that their material, their lesson is comparable to the city student, maybe they will be encouraged to do more in order to do much better. So this kind of empowerment that I'm talking about. So this could be even a communication to the farmers, video to video. So when they grow rice or growing in the agriculture, they know what they're doing is the best available technology, the best practice. So they will be even more confident. So the candidate for this has to be rural, remote, poor, and could be located anywhere in Africa, could be even in the United States, it could be in Canada, maybe for the indigenous communities over there, maybe in the poor area, rural. Let's put our effort in this at the most. And the key aspect here is the access of internet. This will be the key. but maybe we can work out something so that we don't really, while waiting to get access of internet, we can do it, as I say, video to video conference somehow, maybe a safe and forward technology. Again, to start with, I would suggest Canada, who has, I think, a lot of program in the telemedicine in the rural area. I know they are very strong. So maybe we can just simply unify those into an overall comprehensive, including the health, education, and training as to start with. That's what I'm suggesting. And maybe in Asia, Africa, and Latin America, other places, whether it is developed countries or maybe underdeveloped countries. So thank you for the opportunity.
Well, Erwin, again, what you bring is so very valuable. So what I would ask, if you would take the opportunity to create a presentation that you could share with this audience, but I can provide assistance so we can actually record it. And that way, no matter what your time is like, we'll always be able to share that with the audience. But we need you to include your organization. And also, I would like for you to share your success stories about successes that you've had. I like to ask every audience member here to begin to think about employing your mobile device as more than just being a consumer, but also as a producer of content about what you're doing in your life that has an impact on what we're talking about. I can rebroadcast this around the world, but I can't do it unless we have it. So Erwin, I ask you, can we get together so we can create a public presentation about what it is that you are sharing with us today?
Yes, more than happy to do that, Andrew. So we'll do that. And also I have some case study dealing with the GIS, the guaranteed income system that I'm doing it in Indonesia right now, using the porang, we call it the one that grow underground. It's actually glucomannan. It's usually the staple food in some of these Asian countries like Japan, China. If you go to Japanese restaurant, you see this noodle, the white color noodle. They call it, well, basically it is glucomannan. So it's good even for diabetes people. So, I already did this for the past 1 year and almost 2 years. The harvest is every 2 years, but the situation is, so I might be able to present that case study, for example, and maybe the one I mentioned with the telehealth, telemedicine, I really have a chance because I really haven't had a chance to prove it. So this is something that I'm hoping to do, to be able to do in some of the African countries, for example. Let's do it. And maybe we require some kind of permit from the government because it's dealing with the healthcare provider. So, but as far as education, maybe we can easily implement it to the student, whether it's pre-kindergarten, K through 9, K through 9 to 12. Maybe we can improve their system, the quality of education for these young people, so that they are ready for the millennial situation. So I'm very enthusiastic at starting this program, and hopefully there's something that we can do right away, implementing in 2-3 villages, poor village, and just run it through, serve it as a model program, whether it's in Canada or Africa, maybe 3 or 4 village we focus, we do it and make it as a model. Thank you.
Well, yes, thank you. Please set aside some time as soon as possible this week, maybe 30 minutes, maybe an hour to begin with, and then let's plan out how we move forward. And I'll set you up with our Joseph Akinola, and we'll begin the recording of the presentation. I think, Erwin, it's important we begin right now. So just let me know as soon as you'll be available. Thank you.
Okay, I will do that. Thank you very much.
Okay, I'm seeing it's now 10 after 1, so we've been again on the line over more than 2 hours. I'm just hoping, or I'm asking if there's any other comments for today. People that would like to introduce themselves or discuss some topic or issue for this week's discussion based around
Yeah, I
this
did put
upcoming
my
event.
sorry, I did put my information in the chat posting.
Yeah, thank you very much, everyone. But I think moving forward, we're going to have hopefully a successful event on March 4th, where we can have really strong relationship with SDSN Canada as a result of our participation in that event. And
Lloyd, let me
yes.
ask you, you know, because we have a global audience, what time of day and what agenda do you have in mind for March 4th?
Well, I don't have the specific agenda set out yet. I think what we're going to need to do, I will send a response to this gentleman that did say that we could have a side event. I'm gonna have to tell him what are probably those three things we'd like to do during that event, that side event, with the rebroadcast and the tea diplomacy, I think being number 1 and 2. The last one is simply just that announcement. Hopefully that we can get some kind of partnership.
I'll check with Mariam Khan to see what hours of the day the event will be for her on March 4th through the 8th. So at least we'll have that stable data to work from.
So we'll need to have a conversation with them to find out when we can have, like, what are the hours that they're offering, like when is their event, and when can we do our side of it, because I don't have those details either. So it will require a conversation with the people at the University of Waterloo, which is hosting.
Logistics are the most important thing right now. So that nailing that down as soon as possible is going to be very important.
So one of my tasks for today, like, will or at least by the end of this weekend, will be to get a response back to this gentleman, John Beale, at the University of Waterloo, who is the gentleman that I talked to or wrote to, and got connected and sort of got to go ahead that we can do a side event. So that is one important email that I will get off to him. That is one of my to-do items from this call. I already had it in mind that I would be responding to him shortly. I just wanted to get a clarification on what it is that we are actually going to do, and if anybody else actually has any other ideas or contributions. For instance, Erwan, do you think you might be ready to do something where you can do also a presentation about your work during this SDSN Canada side event? We've been given an opportunity, and it's kind of a blank slate right now. They don't know what we're going to do. So we can propose to them whatever, as long as you think it's possible. We can propose different things. I just gave the proposal of those three things. Since the Global Women's Development Network is already doing an event on the same day, why not rebroadcast their event during this? So talking about the bubble soccer, so why not make an announcement at that time if we can, and why not do a tea diplomacy event? But other ideas, and maybe we'll do more than just those three things. So I'm open again. Everybody can contact me directly by WhatsApp or by email, just to say, here, we'd like to contribute to this side event, so that the SDSN knows who we are. So if nothing else, perhaps we can wrap up. But perhaps people can just think about it in terms of their own possible contributions to this, because we are a global network, as Andrew said, and so this is an opportunity for anybody, so we can get our foot and our programs known by a very well-known network, the Sustainable Development Solutions Network. It's been around for a long time, and has been doing work around the world. And if nothing else at this point, perhaps we can just end it.
Well, as we close, I'm going to share on the screen too that on February 12th, the Indigenous or International and Indigenous Women's Day Conference 22 will have a planning meetup. That's February 12th. And Andrew Networks and AHIABGA-TV are the media sponsors. So we're inviting everyone that has an interest to communicate and contact with us. And we'll be happy to make the connection with whatever you're doing locally with what we're doing globally.
Thank you very much, Andrew. And I will mark that as well into my calendar if it's not already there. I would like to have another couple events, but I will put this on as a priority event. Do you know the time of day it is?
Yes, I'm actually setting that up. I think it's going to be 10 o'clock your time, but I'll have the Zoom information in about 30 minutes. I'm setting it up. I'll let you know.
Right. So thank you very much, Andrew. So at this time, if there are no other contributions that anybody would like to make or introductions, I guess we can probably wrap up today's IGU Summit. Thank you all for participating one more time today in this IGU Summit. I'm hoping that with each one of these discussions and events that we are more and more clear on what it is that we are trying to achieve and and how we're trying to do it as well. And we will eventually come together and make this happen, especially during this next 8 years until 2030. I think this is a critical time for us to really make a big difference in the world. And I'm fairly confident we can do it. We have a lot of very good, skilled, passionate people in our network. And it is it's talent that's on the call today. I think that it's at the base of much of what we're trying to achieve. I suppose that can end our call. What do you think, Andrew?
Okay, well, thanks everyone for attending. We're going to end the meeting now. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Juliet.